Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the elect of the nation of Israel, starting off with the 144,000, which will be the ruling governing body in the kingdom of heaven. Which the 144,000 will consist of all men. You also have a lot of the elect here in America, which are a large multitude of believers, which will include men, women, and children that will be saved on this side. 2/3 of our people will be destroyed here in America. You do have the rebels that are scattered abroad that will be destroyed. You also have the elect that are scattered abroad that will be saved of you Israelites, who the world ignorantly calls black, Hispanic, Native American, Puerto Rican, Dominican, Jamaican, Haitian, Guatemalans, Panamanians. Right, which I really shouldn't say either, because the world knows, but I would say a lot of the world chooses to still follow this false narrative, the Edomite, which the truth is out, about who this man is and who we are. Nevertheless, I'm the brother Yeremia, come back at y'all with a quick lesson. As y'all can see from end time headlines, it says experts are warning that there will be significant shortages in the United States by the end of next month. Now, hey, as y'all can see, it has a hourglass, which what's the purpose of an hourglass? It's showing you the time, running out, right? And we don't have much time, man. We do not have much time. I thought of Jeremiah 30:7 because that time of Jacob's trouble is desperately upon us, right? And this feels different, But it's Jeremiah 30:7 says, "Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he should be saved out of it." And then he is talking about the elect, right, of Israel. They'll be saved. They're going to go through these things with food shortages, all hell breaking loose, but they're going to be good. Now, 2/3 of our people here in America, right, they're not going to be delivered out of these things. They're going to panic, right? They're going to be subject to whatever Esau does, right? And they're going to trust in this system, fully. But Lord willing us in this truth, we're not going to be subject to that, We're not going to be in that mindset. We're going to be fully trusting in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Hey, if this do happen, right, which I went to the store the other day, I didn't notice anything, but, I'm speaking as a man, it's probably going to happen in different places first, and it's already been happening. People having shortages in their stores in certain cities, so it probably going to happen all at once, but it'll happen, back to back to back, every other day or every week in different places, right? But this is a result in bad leadership, right? And if you're a true prophet, you're going to be warning the people about these things, right? Which you can only be a true prophet if you are an Israelite, first off, and you have to be a part of the elect. This is Jeremiah 28 and verse 8. It says, "The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old both prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war, evil, and the pestilence," right? Which pestilence is disease, right? Hey, there being a shortage of food is a famine, The stores, shelves being empty, right? This is coming quick, And most people, they're not paying attention, right? Especially Jake's still planning for vacation. Jake's still planning to, graduate, get the bag. This man is moving, right? Which Yahweh Shemel Shai is making him move, So what we got to do, us in this truth, us in this faith, we got to believe wholeheartedly, because we got to be prepared to give up everything, right? This is Ephesians. Let me get this in Ephesians 6. I believe Ephesians 6. Let me see. Ephesians 6, verse 10, it says, "Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of Yahweh, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil, the tricks of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and against powers and against the rulers of darkness of this world and against spiritual wickedness in high places." All right, that's what we're battling against, right? The Edomites, right? You know, these heathen, you know, spirits, right? There's a lot of things that's coming against us, you know, and persecution's gonna come, right? And we gotta understand the Lord's in control of all this, you know. So there's no need to fret or worry, you know, or be in an uproar, right? This is verse 13. It says, "Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of Yahweh, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand." Right? Verse 14 says, "Stand therefore, having your loins girded about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace, and above all taking the shield of faith, wherewith you should be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked." Right? So, you know, a helmet, what is, you know, everybody knows what a shield does, right? It protects you from, you know, damage, right? And faith, if we have faith, we ain't gonna let things affect us like that, you know, because a lot of people, they probably panic buying right now, right? And when a lot of people are gonna wait till it's too late, but then that's when the chaos is gonna start, because people are gonna realize what can they do now? You know, people don't have nothing to lose, they lose it. That's a saying, and that's what people are gonna do. Right? And it says, "And take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of Yahweh." You know, and that's what we gotta do, man. You know, when we use this word, you know, and we meditate upon this daily, hey, you know, this is a defense, right? This keeps us protected. You know, this keeps us, Salakia, you know, sharp, you know, and there's nothing nobody can be able to do, you know, against you if you got this word in your mind, right? That's what's gonna matter when all hell breaks loose, you know. Hey, May Day, you know, a lot of the elites, they like to do things around that time, but we'll see, you know, we'll see, but you know, we're not surprised, right? What is it saying? Thessalonians. Let me get that. I think it's in 1 Thessalonians, chapter 5 and verse 1. Let me see. It says, "But at the times and seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you, for yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night." Right. And it's perfect time, because at the end of next month, May, it's starting to be summer. You know, people getting out of school, people starting to be more relaxed, even though all hell's brewing right now. All hell could break loose in a couple weeks, right? You know, they might scale back certain things. Like, I think they pushed back certain tariffs or something like that, like a week or two ago. But things are still happening, right? You know, you got a lot going on. You know, the shelves are already being affected. This is verse 3. It says, "When they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that the day shall overtake you as a thief." Right? We know what's going on. We have the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of what times we in, man. You know, we know things can pop off at any moment. We understand it. You know? And, you know, when these things do fully happen, you know, hey, may Yahweh Shema Shai be with the elect, man. Which he will be, but we hope that we are part of that number. You know? And, you know, like I said, we're not in the mind state of hoping this place continues on, man. We know things are gonna get bad. We know things are gonna get, you know, bad out here and chaotic. You know? It is what it is. You know? And we have a short time left, just like it has the hourglass on this photo. You know? And it's all been orchestrated by, you know, Esau, man. You know? On the physical level, the Lord is using this, man. You know, so a lot of chaos is getting ready to happen, man. So you Jakes out there, you better take this truth serious. And if you heard about this thing, you better repent and have all feet in. You know, this is 2nd Ezra 6:22. I believe I brought this in brought this out in my last video, right? Because I keep seeing these articles, I keep seeing these things pop up. It says, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, and the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty, right? And the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man hear, they shall suddenly be afraid, right? Like I said, when people realize they don't got nothing to lose, they lose it, right? When they get that notification, when they realize, hey, things are not what it is, and I seen an article about Trump possibly doing martial law. It was I think it has something to do with the Insurrection Act. These things are here. This is verse 24 says, and at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein, and the springs of the fountain shall stand still, and the 3 hours that shall not run, so the water is going to be cut off, right? This truth is going to be pushed back. All these things are happening, man. All these things are coming to pass, man. So this is a sign of the end of Babylon, the end of America as we know it, right? And the beginning of our kingdom, Let it happen, man. All praise to Yahweh Shai, man. I felt like this could really be different, because I've seen things like this in the past, come into the truth, but we know it's going to happen, right? And the elect is going to eat, That's why you got to read, about the stories of old when Elijah was fed by a raven. You got to read about the woman. I think Elijah basically, blessed her in the name of the Lord, and her cruse, I think it was called a cruse or jar, it was still filled up with bread. So there was multiple times where, even in ancient Egypt during the time of Joseph, where the Lord's elect was fed. The Lord ain't gonna allow his elect go out bad, man. They will be protected, right? They will be good. The scriptures say in Romans 15:4, that's why it's important for you to read Romans 15:4. It says, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. You see that? So, all those stories, the ones that I just kind of mentioned, they were written, so we would have patience and we would have comfort. All right, because things ain't going to happen when we expect it. Things ain't going to happen when we wanted to. But, us knowing these things happen, we trust in Yahweh Shai to deliver us. We know, what to expect in the end. And this is one of those things where, you can't get, shaken up, right? The Lord required that which is past. The Lord had, famines. The Lord had empires collapse, in the past, and America's no different. But this time, this is going to be the last time the heathen are going to rule, right? But I'm going to close out. I hope this video was edifying to the elect. I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakak Wadash. Double honor to the elders and apostles, great millstone. Until next time, I want to say peace and salutations also to the elect, and to you very, very few sisters that listen and learn. Hey, pray to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, that, hey, that you be delivered, man. That he gives you more faith. I'm talking to myself first and foremost, that he puts a spirit on you to be on fire, man. We almost up out of here, This is the year of, I believe, that the elder apostle Tahar, the end of this year, the year of Esau's destruction, Jacob's deliverance. If I'm not mistaken, I might be saying it wrong. But it looks like all these things could be happening, so, with that, I'm going to close out. I want to say, Abba Ball, Shalom.